to another episode of Banter and Brews. I'm your host, Will, and I'm joined with Eric.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too, sir.
It's been a while since we've seen each other in person. We've talked quite a bit. But we haven't seen each other
I'm about to say a lot of Facebook messaging. I think probably the last time was not even Trades Garrison. But was it trade? No, it was after Trades Garrison.
It's after Trades because you've come to a couple of Garrisons since then, yeah.
Then I came over and helped with the Junior Ranger camp.
Yes.
And stepped on a thorn, and it
tried
totally
to impale yourself and ruin your whole life.
Yeah. So everybody's probably wondering, like, what are these guys talking about? So tell us a little bit about you. You know, how do we know each other?
So I'm the manager at Fort Loudon State Historic Area. For those of you who've not been there, we're a French and Indian War site. So we're a historic park. We've still got about 1,200 acres in total. So the fort is obviously the reason everybody goes there. It's the reason I think that attracted you partially, and it's definitely the reason a lot of people find out about us. It's the only complete reconstructed French and Indian period only fort in the United States, so that's kind of cool. And the fact that it's in Tennessee is even cooler because nobody ever thinks about anything before everybody's a Civil War. And I mean, you know how that was working there. But it's great. We love the park. Obviously, you and I talked about it a little bit when I first got here. We're dealing with some tree damage and some storm damage, but that's always the case in parks. I mean,
I'm about to say y'all got hit pretty hard with the storm, and you've been working pretty hard all day. And I don't know a better thing to do after a long, hard day of work than drinking a cold beer. So how about we get to it and crack it on? Hippies and Cowboys from Tennessee Brew Works. I've
had several of their beers. I haven't had this one yet, so this is cool.
It's just a good one.
Is it a good one?
It's our number one IPA.
Right on.
It's not our number one IPA in total, but we've gone through a lot of their products before, and this is definitely the flagship product we run with in Cleveland. And we really just sell a ton of the product. It really resonates with our customers, just being a Tennessee company, really.
Right on. Yeah, they've been great with parks. I mean, we were talking about we've even got one of our Rangers on the can, so one of their beers. I know they started doing a lot with parks early on. I know as a park manager, a couple of the early managers conferences when I first started, as a manager, going on 10 years ago now, probably a couple years after I became a manager, they started coming to, some of their reps started coming to the managers meeting and talking about this mutual relationship they wanted to have with parks. Mm-hmm. And as far as I know, it's worked out great for both of us. I think people love the idea that it's a Tennessee beer, and then the idea that they're supporting parks through it is, it's kind of a win-win for both of us.
100%.
So, all right.
Cheers.
Cheers. Yeah, that's smooth. That's really good.
Oh, yeah.
I like the kind of it's got just a little bit of fruit on the back end. Mm-hmm. It's nice.
It's really bright.
Yeah.
It's not too heavy. Honestly, I don't know if you noticed or not. It leaves the palate really quickly. It's just like a really crushable IPA.
Yeah. And what's funny is when you said IPA, I'll be absolutely honest with you. IPA is probably my least favorite beer in the whole world.
I should have done some market research to figure out something better for you, maybe.
And that's what was funny when they first introduced the Parks beer. That was one of the things too. They were like, "Yeah, it's a great beer," and it's very hoppy. And I was like, "Oh no." And I've adjusted. I drink lots of different kinds of beer, but I've always been more of the dark beer kind of guy. Mm-hmm. The dark ales, dark stouts. But I've started drinking more and more of this style, not so much as in the IPA, but these more got the little fruity shine aftertaste on them and something that pops off your tongue a little quicker. It's a great beer for when you're actually have been doing stuff. Yep. You don't really want to stout after you've been out cutting trees all day. It's a little dense. Yeah.
A good meal. But
yeah. Well, I know what we'll do. You're going to go out and work in the heat all day, and then we're going to come home and we're going to drink really thick liquid. Good choice.
I'm glad you're enjoying it. So now, when did you get started with Tennessee State Parks?
I started with parks. I became a seasonal in 1996. I did my senior internship. I was going to Oklahoma State, and some of my instructors at Oklahoma, I needed a senior internship, and some of my instructors knew some of the folks that at that time it was called Program Services. Now it's, I think, IP&E, but basically the programs division that hired seasonals, just like you were. And so they hooked me up with them, and it was not a great start. It's kind of funny that I ended up here full time, because what they hired me for and the bag of goods the person at that time sold me versus what I actually ended up doing couldn't have been more polar opposite. I was doing a lot of challenge course and high ropes course stuff at the time, and my degree I was working on was in experiential ed. And so that's what they hired me to go to Henry Horton State Park and be the director of the challenge course. Yeah, there wasn't one when I got there. They had like 2 low elements. They didn't use it anymore. It was all overgrown. And so I spent my whole summer, giving hay rides, which was not exactly what I had signed up for. And to make it even worse is it wasn't even like dramatic, exciting hay rides. We pulled them with what was this old Chevy or blue Dodge pickup that they also used to do trash. So if you're on the hay wagon, all you could smell was like day old dumpster when we were pulling you through the campground. So I'm sure people to this day, people are like, "Oh yeah, I remember riding behind the dumpster truck." Yeah. So it very vividly sticks. Anything that involves hot trash sticks in your head. And
I understand that. It's like coming over to Fort Loudon. It was like the reenactor aspect, and it's like kind of like what I knew I was gonna come out and reenact, talk history, and do this. And then a lot of it was the morning routine was cleaning the VC bathroom.
Yeah, welcome to the bathroom.
Then the picnic door bathroom, and then spraying for the hornets and de-weeding the Cherokee garden and stuff. So there was a little extra packed in the contract. I get that. Yeah,
it's never exactly. I mean, that's the reality. We're like everybody else. Everybody tries to sell you on the shine, and the other stuff we just kind of swing in on the back end, like, well, you love this part, so maybe this part won't seem so bad.
Yeah.
So I did that for a summer. Went back to Oklahoma. My wife had graduated and had a full-time job already, so went back to Oklahoma. The ranger position came open at Horton, and despite my time, my dad's like, "What are you doing? Why would you apply for that job? You hated working there in the summer." I was like, "Yeah, but that wasn't the same thing." And so I applied for it, got the job, and the rest has been history, so to speak. So I started there February. Well, I actually showed up for the job January 1st January 2nd of 1997, and I've been with Parks ever since. So came over to Fort Loudon in 2002 when we had some park closures, and then became the manager. 2013, 12, 13.
Okay, then that was the year or 2 years before I came in, because I think I was there 2014, 15. Yeah, 2014, 15.
Yeah, because it was you and Luke.
Yep.
And that was right at the beginning for me, because I'd taken the position, but there was like this down period where, Jeff Wells, who'd been the manager, there was like almost a year where there was no manager. Will was kind of the interim manager, and Josh and Will and I kind of led through committee, and then they finally opened the position, and everybody but Will, actually Josh and I both applied for the position. Will didn't. He'd learned as the interim manager that he wanted nothing to do with managing the park. That was not his bag, and I got it, and it's been a great job. It's been a lot of learning. I joke with people, it's the part of the job most rangers like the least, and that's true with me. It's the paperwork side. It's all the stuff we became rangers because we thought we'd never have to do, and it's just not true anymore. All these jobs require, and there's no jobs anymore that don't require you to spend time behind a computer, time doing paperwork. I mean, I think we were a little naive to think that would be the case.
Yeah.
Anyhow, it had been that way, like so many things with parks, but and more the manager job is more managing and less rangering, and it takes some getting used to. There are days. I mean, the last 2 days of trees down has been great for me, because I hadn't had to be in the office at all. I've been out cutting trees, been out working on the trail, been out directing things. It's like being a ranger again. My rangers are like, "Oh my God, when will this ever end? There's trees everywhere." And I'm like, "This is the best day ever." I'm not in the office.
Yeah.
So, you just learn to adjust.
I would say the office work must be really frustrating, because I noticed last time I was in there, I believe there was a tomahawk through the wall. So it must be really frustrating these days.
It leads to some rough days. We when we start driving tomahawks into the wall, that the day's gone off badly.
So we were talking about Tennessee Brew Works and working with state parks, and they don't know how much you're familiar with. You probably like you said, through marketing, what they've kind of talked to you guys about. But Tennessee Brew Works is one of those breweries that we've worked with for a while now, and they just do so much, not only just Tennessee State Parks, but just Tennessee State people. You know, a lot of the ingredients that go into their beers are Tennessee products, and by the time they're done with all that, you know, that mash, once they, you know, remove the wort to make the actual beer, they donate out to the farmers again for, you know, livestock feed.
Yeah. I mean, they really seem to have been, they're one of the neat ones that really seem to have hooked in with the place where they're at and try to make the most of it for both themselves and for everything around them. I don't know a lot about their company as the company, but just knowing things I hear about them doing with the public and doing through donations and, of course, working with parks, which was great. And they just seem to really be, it's not just a bill of sale when they give us the whole, well, you know, we support the state. It seems like the people in the state are right up there with their desire to make a quality product is also the desire to, you know, work and make everybody more interested in Tennessee, what's going on, the parks, their different things. And you can't really lose with that kind of with that kind of a combination, I think.
And something I've been seeing a lot recently is you know, they've always had the, you know, well, not always had, but for a long time they've had the state park Blondale.
Yeah.
And recently they've been coming out with, you know, different flavors for every park. And I thought that's it's like 4 different parks, maybe 5 now that have their, you know,
because the first time I saw them, it caught me completely off guard. Driving into Nashville, they had a new billboard up, and I was like, wait a minute, I didn't know they did that. And so, talking to my regional manager, I think they've got one now in each region, plus they've got one, or the 3 main divisions, plus the one they always had, which, you know, had Randy on it. But I don't know what their long-term goal is in that. It would be great if they wanted to do every park, or even like seasonally add a park and take it away, even if it's seasonal. I think that would be kind of cool for everybody. I know that's something the Rangers at our park have talked about for years. And of course, being a British fort, we always talk about we wish somebody would come and make rum for us. But you know, you got to do what you got to do. We're a British fort.
Hey, listen, maybe if we got some people listening from Tennessee Brew Works,
that's right. Yeah,
we could maybe do something. You know, you were already talking about you like stouts, maybe a rum barrel aged stout.
That would be perfect. Yeah, and rum stout. That would be great if they're paying attention.
The independent company stout.
Absolutely. You know, that would be awesome.
I like that.
We would sell that out. You know, we would between the reenactors and just the fort.
You would have a line going out the VC. And you'd have you know, a certain individual, maybe like you, getting in line a couple times.
Well, you know, we're going to put you on there. We'll give it to you, and then we'll send you out in a kayak.
There you go. I like it. Float them down the lake. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I'll say, before we log off and end everything, just curious. You know, I was there for 2 years, and you know, we had a lot of crazy things happen in those 2 years. A lot's happened afterwards where I've seen from the outside. Do you have any good stories from Fort Loudon, like just like something funny? You know, maybe you've experienced it. I don't have to be a part of the story. I know I've seen a lot of them. But like anything particular you would, you know, want to share with our community today?
Well, I mean, like the most recent one was just with this whole deal this week with all this weird weather. You know, we've got put it out on Facebook, put it out on the webpage, put it out through the local Chamber of Commerce. You know, trails are closed. We apologize. It's not a big deal, but we're going to get them back up and running. We're working really hard on it. I've got guys in the woods with chainsaws. I got equipment moving all over the place. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, we're out cutting trees on the backside of the trail. And this little 80-year-old man comes blasting out of the trees with his 2 little hiking sticks. And he comes right up to me. And I'm like, what is going on? I've got a saw. I got the helmet on. I mean, it's pretty obvious I'm cutting. Mm-hmm. And he comes right up to me and he goes, do you know there's trees down on that side of the trail? And it was, I mean, you've been there when we've had some of these conversations where you're like, what do you want to say? What can you say? And what do you say? And yeah, my mind just raced at the moment, and I'm thinking, what about me says I don't know there's trees on the trail? I mean, besides the big giant oak behind me, what else doesn't tell you? What about the flagging tape you had to crawl under to even get on the trail and park? And you know, I mean, that's the thing. People are funny. They get so used to what they want and what they think they can do, and they don't realize that, you know, so much of what we do is based on keeping them safe, not trying to, you know, keep anyone from going on the trail.
You were trying to inconvenience
I was trying to make it bad. I hate hikers. And I was trying to put my
I could
foot
kind
down.
of see you right now sitting your chainsaw very gently on the ground and going, "What?
There's trees down.
There's trees down?
Oh my God.
Show me, hurry, show
Yeah,
me."
yeah. So I just stood there for a minute and, let all those things you want to scream and yell and then the things you want to just be sarcastic about. And because as you know, there's no shortage of sarcasm at Fort Loudon for the staff. Mm-hmm. And then we're like, "Yes, sir. Could you give me an idea about where that is? And we'll send a crew over there." And he's like, he had it all written down, but he'd power hiked with his little sticks. And so those are the best ones, the people that just out of the blue and they're angry about silly things. And you're just like, dude, come on, work with me here.
Yeah, I've always said the show Parks and Rec is actually a really good representation of the public can be sometimes.
It exactly is. Yeah.
So, thanks for coming out.
It's
having
great
a
to be
cold
here.
beer.
Yeah, appreciate it. It's been great after a hard day at the.
We'll see if
park.
I can make it out to the next event or not.
Don't you
It's
be
going to be
making
down
promises.
to the wire. We're due we're going to be having our baby scheduled for induction
coming right on
the
that.
27th of this month.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, so
Yeah, you're going to be right on the line.
yeah. We got to see if I can come out, and reenact or not.
Yeah, you might want to give it a couple of months before Mama wants you to go racing out and see me.
Exactly. Well, thanks for coming out.
It was great.
Cheers.
Cheers.